Hello, Borgin here, continuing our playthrough to level 99. We just wrapped up with that core titan, and now we're really jumping on for the first time today to play with intent of making progress. We actually jumped a couple levels up to 68 during the core titan from where we were at 65, so all of the power that we had gained during that last upgrade made a big difference. Really quick, just gonna see which daily rewards I've got done. Complete 2 missions, get 10 memories. Let's see, we got decoding, break shields, decode memories, so those will probably happen throughout the day. Now the big thing to talk about, Borgen, the Black Commissary, is here. Borgin shows up on Fridays through Sunday nights server time, which is central in the US, and he sells equipment for ancient coins. And the equipment that he sells is some of the best in the game. And I'm just realizing now I really should have turned my Postmaster notifications off. I'm going to be getting lots of these Postmaster notifications from the Core Titan. Anytime you participate in one of those big events, turn them off, especially if you're getting 800 notifications for memories popping in. It gets annoying after a while, and you cannot stop them once they start. But in your settings, if you turn off Postmaster notifications up front, they won't ever start. So let's talk about Borgen. He has some of the best end gear in the game, and it costs ancient coins. Now, most of it is pretty expensive, more so than I have right now or am going to spend. Now, there is a way to support the game. I think I talked a little about this last video. But you can buy ancient coins. For $5 you get 100, 10 is 250, 25 is 800, 50 bucks get you 2,000, 100 gets you 4,500, 200 gets you 10,000, plus all these extra bonuses. But you don't need to buy anything to eventually be able to get these. There's plenty of ways in game through your dailies, through monthly rewards, and through farming to gain ancient coins. It can speed things up a little bit, but certainly not needed. But let's just talk about what is worth it potentially to you in here, both on a short-term basis and a long-term basis. A lot of these bikes give 99% perk plus something else. Of these, they kind of have niche uses. So Visage or Vision of Homer, for example, gives plus 999 experience. This one is crucial for two types of what's what I'm looking for? Not achievements, but triumph runs. One of them is doing a Kratos only, where you only use your starter weapon. You've got no way to increase the amount of experience you get through gear, but you can add 1,000% roughly through Visions of Homer, so that is crucial. The other one where this is huge is in doing the sub 1 hour level 99 run. If you aren't doing it during a Titan rush, and even if you are, this makes a huge difference in how quickly you can get that achievement. It is possible without, so Bunnies, for example, posted a video of doing his without, but he used a ton of boosters to do so and had a pretty fast connection. Having it makes a pretty big difference. Drachma bow, I wouldn't spend AC on. Shield wall, I really wouldn't either, unless you're just trying to get the highest power possible on some of the leaderboards. Phalanx for attack, this one used to be pretty good. I don't use it much anymore though. Let's see, Touch of Asclepius, I'm sure I'm butchering most of these names. Hit Point Regen, this one can be useful. I use it a lot of times in those larger public events like the Core Titan and Super Titan, just to re-heal from getting hit with crits that periodically come. He can also be useful for Kratos Farming. Bounty Hunter, this one makes your life easy if you want to do a lot of bounties and you don't want to buy the items for it. It will turn enemies that you're looking for in bounties yellow, so it's easy to pick them out. Alright, Daemona Lysa. I don't call it that. It's the Enraged bike. Everybody calls it the Enraged bike. At 400 AC, this thing is a still. I would call this one of the essential bikes, especially if you want to get to God tier. Basically, it makes it so everything you're fighting gives you double the experience and the drachma once you get past their shields, which is huge. You don't have to buy extra boosters to do it. This is probably my second most used bike ever. And even for leveling fast, it's huge. If you're trying to drachma grind quickly, it's huge. Better than the 99% drachma boats and things like that, so long as you have enough defense to survive getting hit. Coin detector. If you're only farming AC, you can get this one. I think I bought it just because I had a ton of AC in my main account, but I don't typically use that one. Auto nullify bike. Niche, I wouldn't use it. Using nullifier items, usually whenever you need to, is easy enough and you can still get advantage from other bikes. Item magnet, this one is super important. You want an extra item drop sometimes. It's about a 25% chance to increase the number of items you have dropped. So when it comes time to farm ancient coins or farm memories to increase your decode rank, or to farm for gold to infuse for your gear, this bike you will be riding a lot. Endgame, it's the only bike you're riding. So this is one of those, it's a little bit expensive. You don't need it up front, but when you can afford it, you want to get that at some point. Cartographer, if your name is AWAR, you probably love this bike. No one else should touch it. Munitions Expert, this one had potential to be interesting. It lets you gain up charges on your super weapons, but it has a cap on it that's kind of low, so not really worth it. All right, you have the Achilles Daemona that protects against poison, a bike that protects against blind, a bike that protects against daze. I don't really use these. There's helmets that protect against blind. Poison sometimes you want, and actually there's a bike that gives you the poison status. And for me, for your one slot for a bike, it just isn't worth filling up with these guys. I'm gonna come back to the yellow gear here in a moment. On these other ones, Drachma attack, again, probably not worth it. Wrath of Homer, probably not worth it. Armament Forces, probably not worth it. You know, they're 500 to one perk, 500 to another. It sounds like a lot in early game. It is. Late game, it's really not that much. All right, Crazy Tapper. This guy you will want at some point when you are working towards God's tier. You get 2 times your gear XP with it with the big XP perk. The thing is, you never use this while you're actually farming. It's almost always better to use your Rage bike because that not only gives you 2 times the hero XP, which effectively gives you 2 times gear XP, but you also get 2 times the Drachma. However, you do want this equipped when you are doing transpositions later on to level up your gear. So when you get to the point where you're really grinding hard towards God tier and you've got some of these other yellow weapons, you're gonna wanna grab that guy. Ruiner causes poison. Some people love this because being poisoned does give you a little bit of bonus gear experience. Again, something you don't worry about till 99. Mostly I just used it once to get the Barry bobblehead where you have to kill a super titan, get the killing blow while you're poisoned. So it's an easy way to make sure you had that condition. Model S, random perks. I don't buy random stuff, I'm sorry. Extra crit for Bellerophon, probably not worth it really. Extra evade, probably not worth it. Drachma inverter, probably not worth it. So your bikes that really are worth it are going to be the Rage bike and Crazy Tapper at some point, and the item magnet. Those really are the core ones. Beyond that, the other ones are optional, situational. All right, now for gear, these are the 2 bikes, Tears of Elo and Shadow of Ares. At some point, these are the best in the game. They're really not anymore, not really worth buying. All right, for gear, you have 2 versions of the Thunderbolt of Zeus, which is the strongest primary weapon in the game. You will want this when you're working towards God's tier. You have to have the Light Seeker, which is a ship to, I think, Mount Olympus to buy this. And it's a lot. These are about 7,000 AC for the Thunderbolt of Zeus, so it is quite a grind to save for him. Paley Strike is a heavy, is another kind of one of these showcase versions where there's a Slayer and an Oracle version. I realize I haven't talked about sets a whole lot. I would recommend Slayer over Oracle 99 out of 100 times. There's one case where Oracle's better, and that's if you want to be on the leaderboard for high power. Paley Strike, the way he's infused is he hits hard, and so for Zeus farming endgame after level 99, it is pretty good. But he's expensive. He's about 10,000 KAC, and at some point you will swap this out. When you get past the point where you're using your heavy to farm Zeus and you get to the astral plane and you're farming with your primary, you really prefer a heavy weapon that's got attack percentage infused into it so that your primary hits harder and faster because you're going to be using that all the time. Line of Sight, if I had the AC, I could buy it now. It's 1,000. This one is absolutely worth it. You want the Oracle or the Slayer version. It prevents blind. Blindness is the most annoying condition because it makes you miss roughly half the time. And it has a huge amount of defense on it. The base of 195, so it's higher than the base defense of any other Oracle or Slayer set you can get, even at max level, max power, max decode rank. And they are infused with attack percentage, which makes you hit very hard. So this one, I think for 1,000 AC is really a steal. He's probably the first piece I would save for. I would save for Linus Helmet and then probably Thunderbolt. And those are the 2 pieces I would go with. The other one is the Golden Bow. You'll see it called X-Bow. And this guy is pretty strong, both his attack and his attack percentage. And the big thing about Golden Bow is, unlike your normal special weapon that does 2 times damage on shields, he actually does 4 times damage on shields. So late game, when you're trying to farm drops from monsters and you really want to kill them in one hit, this helps do that much faster than anything else. So he's a nice to get. He's, what, about 9,000 AC? Again, you can get him before you get to Mount Olympus, but fairly expensive. It's a bit of a grind to get to him. You know, maybe something you can save for later on in the game. Not required. The 2 pieces of gear I would primarily focus on when you're ready to that point, well after you're level 99, Line of Sight, and then Thunderbolt of Zeus. All right, with that, that's everything with Borgen. So my clan's chatting away, welcoming some new members. And let's see, Winter Emporium. I think I looked in here before. There's some interesting things in here. The Blood of Zeus is just a troll item. The Bow of Cupid is a lot like the X-Bow. It does 4 times damage on shield, and the people infused it put it all into primary attack. So it actually can hit harder than the X-Bow does. Because it's red instead of yellow, it can't get to the Onyx tier. So you can't use it to get to God tier, and it doesn't have as high of an attack percentage when you're just primary spam farming at the end of the game. But he is kind of useful. So 35,000 snowballs is a lot, but this will show up in the Vanguard Quartermaster shop at some point. So he could be something that you would potentially want to farm missions for and buy. Heart of Cupid gives you auto regen. It's like the health regen bike. It's a very strong piece of armor. Red set, again, so some limitations with that versus yellow. But that one is very worthwhile potentially as well for farming later on. These also have an event they have a tag on them called event gear, which means that they match with whatever equipment set that you have. So say you have a thief set specifically because you're farming drachma, or a slayer set, you can throw these on and you don't lose your set bonus. Is kind of their special ability. All right, with that, for us, our next big stop is going to be getting to Mercury at level 75. And also we have the Balancer X that you can buy at 75. Both of these are, is that a billion? Get my numbers off. Let's see, 1,000 million, yeah, 1 billion XP. So they're pretty expensive. We need to be saving for those. So we are, you know, a long ways away from getting there. We want to get to level 75, and then we want to, first of all, buy the ship to Mercury. So with that, with our big power bust we had from the upgrading gear, we're going to go back to the Dark Arena and see if we can fight some of those stronger monsters that will potentially give us some better experience per hit. I've got only 3 Ronin tokens left, and after that I'll have to do more missions. So let's see how far this takes me, and after that we'll just be doing Titan farming for a couple levels. So, all right, 2,000 shield guy, 15k experience a hit. This is looking pretty promising. So with that, we're just gonna chill here. We're gonna watch the Postmaster's legs fall off, telling us all about all of our alerts. And we'll see how long it takes us to get to our next benchmark, which is level 75. All right, we're just gonna pop back in here while we're farming away. Currently 71, working towards 72. Most of the monsters in here are giving me 8 to 12K a hit. So. I don't know if that's faster than Titan farming. But this guy particularly isn't hitting very hard, and he's giving me 46K experience per hit. So I went in and changed to my Kratos, and we're just welling away on this guy for as long as we can. Once he kills me again, let's see, if I got a booster to help with that Enrage Nullifier, we're gonna use him. So I really wanna stick on this guy for as long as I can. I'm gonna pop a regenerator as well, because this was really good experience. All right, there we died. But that's how Kratos farming works. You find an enemy that gives you more than anybody else, and you just sit there and you pound them for as long as you can for that 1 damage, because you can rack up a ton of experience really fast. You'll notice I popped like a level or 2 there really quick when I was first farming him. It'll take about 10 minutes for him to show back up at this point. Just for comparison, I'm getting like 1,000 per hit here on maybe 2,000 on a good one. There's some better monsters here. See, Sand Eater. And, you know, these ranks will go up once you've card the creatures as far as how much experience you get. So when you battle them longer, they'll come up. But really that Dark Arena experience was still pretty good even at this point compared to Phobos. Mercury is going to be another story. But let's try some more of that moon farming really quick, shall we? And see, how are we faring now with these boys on the moon? 30-something K per hit, boom, 100, 135. Yeah, to me overall, this is still more consistent of a farm, I think, with potential for a big payout versus what we were seeing for the most part on Dark Arena. I don't know, I may go back. But I'm also the kind of person that gets bored really easily. So if I'm doing one type of thing for too long, I get bored and I want to do something else. I can't just sit there and you know, keep clicking. That's why I don't like Kratos farming. I prefer jumping around and getting the boosts and the buffs. So with that, we've got a ways to go, a few more levels to get to 75, which is kind of our next break point that we want. So I think what we will do is we are going to wrap this one up for now. And when we come back, we will work on finishing getting our level up to level 75.